Bob Lassiter, News Radio 970, WFLA.
8 minutes after the hour of 12 noon at Tuesday, November the 15th, 1988. I ain't fooling with you people today. Get on those damn phones right now. I mean, just take your chances. I'm in no mood whatsoever to sit here and beg for phone calls. I'm not even in any mood to sit here and work for phone calls. You know what I mean? Get on those phones right now. It's astonishing. People are actually doing this. People are actually... this is incredible. Oh, my God. Unreal. Well, we'll just leave them on hold for a while because I do have other things I want to talk about. First of all, for the last 2 Monday nights, I have had to be in the general vicinity of US 19 in Curlew up in the Clearwater countryside area. You people are crazy. What do you live there for? I mean, the rush hour is still going on at 7:15. What do you people live there for? There's nothing that could possibly be worth putting up with that kind of traffic every single day. Unreal. I have an announcement to make. At 2:13 a.m. this morning, at precisely 2:13 a.m. this morning, I quit smoking, gave up coffee and most solid foods. I have, I'm existing primarily on grapes and water, and no more smoking. The smoking, I'm a former smoker from this point on, and I just wanted to announce that today because, I've tried to quit smoking so many times, and I just have never been able to find the proper motivation. Now, my motivation is not going to help you guys, okay? I'm telling you that, telling you right now, it's not going to help you guys, but I will share it with you. I mean, I tried to quit smoking because it was bad for my health. Oh, give me a break. I mean, I'm not going to die, right? I'm immortal, just like you guys are. I tried to quit smoking because I'm such a slob and always dropping ashes. I don't care. Tried to quit smoking because I could save money doing it. Nah. What do I care about money? Even when I didn't have any, I didn't care about it. But then I came up with I calculated that if I continued to smoke, I would probably only be around for another 25 years. But if I gave up smoking, that might add 5 to 10 years to the amount of time I can stay right here behind this microphone driving people insane. And with that kind of knowledge, with that kind of inspiration, I am positive I've got this thing licked. I mean, it has been, in 2 minutes, it will be 10 full hours. Okay, so I slept 7 of them. That's beside the point. I've had no cravings. I have already found a substitute. The coffee we quit yesterday. Oh, get rid of that junk. Tired of putting chemicals in my body. Oh, well, we'll take some of these calls. We need to tell these people to call. Steve and Carol with Steve. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, how you doing, Bob?
Oh, great, Steve.
Well, I hope, you know what? My mom just quit smoking on hypnotism.
What?
Have you tried that?
No, I'll get to that in a second, Steve.
Okay, listen.
Whoa, one second.
Things.
Well, but I've got something.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sitting here. I have 2 absolutely identical weather forecasts that were brought into the studio with one exception. One is on pink paper. I mean, do they give this woman special pink feminine paper?
That's for the savages.
Look at this. Unreal. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Listen, maybe you remember me. I talked to you when we went over to Philly South because you recommended it.
Yeah.
And you told me you'd try Sharan's because I tried Philly South. Did you ever try Sharan's?
Not yet. I have not gotten around to it.
And what about Steak and Shake?
Steak and Shake, I have not gotten around to either. I know. I'm a jerk, Steve.
No, and they're both super. Please try Sharan's. Anyhow, I wanted to ask you something important.
Yeah.
Is this a dumb question? Can you tell me, is the disease of cancer, can doctors say if it's contagious or if it's not contagious?
No, it is not contagious.
And why isn't it? How can is that proven or, isn't it, it seems like it could be transmitted.
No, it can't be.
It can't?
Nope.
Because I've had relatives before where my aunt died 5 years ago and my uncle has it last year. you know.
Okay, well, first of all, AIDS and cancer and a lot of other diseases have something in common, primarily, and, you know, a hopeless on medical opinion, but primarily what cancer is, it's a breakdown in the body's immune system that allows little cancer cells that are floating around inside of all of us to gather in one particular place at one particular time and start growing and then start eating us alive.
Yeah.
It's a breakdown in the immune system, not quite the same kind of breakdown in the immune system as AIDS, but it has often been said, and it's probably true, if you find a cure for AIDS, you've probably found a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
Because there are many similarities.
Because also some doctors have come down with cancer that treat cancer patients.
Well, but Steve, the odds are most of us will get cancer at some point in our lives.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, we keep living longer, my friend, and the longer you live, then the greater the odds are that you're going to get the disease.
Right.
You know, when we used to die off from appendicitis or from bad colds.
Yeah.
Then you didn't live long enough to get cancer.
Right. Alrighty, something to look forward to.
Well, yes, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, right. Well, I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you, Steve.
And hope to see. And I went to Howard's on your recommendation.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
All right.
It was very good. Not enough shrimp on the dinner. Chicken wings on the chicken wing platter. But
well, I mean, you know, come on, Steve. Where is Howard's? It's around Hyde Park and Bayshore, right? All these trendy people that want to be thin, you know.
It was really groovy, yeah. But I couldn't pick it
That's why I suggest the hamburgers at Howard's. You see, because the trendy people, they won't eat red meat. That's why they make the hamburgers really big.
I know, and I didn't get one.
Oh, foolish young man.
Please try Steak and Shake. I love your program.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank
Well,
you.
I can't begin to imagine why. Dave in Bel Air. Dave, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
You told me to call, and I called. You didn't tell me it was going to be the restaurant show. Are we talking about restaurants?
No. I'm not talking about anything. I quit smoking 10 hours and 3 minutes and 18 seconds ago. You think I've got my act together today?
No.
On top of that, I gave up coffee. And on top of that, I started a diet. I've had nothing but grapes and water.
Well, I'll tell you what. I gave up smoking about 8 years ago.
Fantastic.
But I did it one cigarette at a time.
My ex-wife did that.
You have to give up the one when you wake up in the morning, and then the one with the first cup of coffee, and then the one after breakfast, and just one by one until you can, give up the one with the beer after work. And
I think you guys are crazy. Because my ex-wife did it that way. A 2-pack a day smoker.
Oh yeah.
I think I've done it before very successfully, and I finally figured out how it was that I started smoking again. For me, it's relatively easy. I do not have, apparently, nicotine withdrawal. I do not have cravings for cigarettes. With me, smoking is more of a physical thing, and I have already discovered a fantastic substitute for taking a hit off a cigarette. It's taking a sip of water.
A sip of water?
Yes, it satisfies me.
Yeah, I do that too.
But
Let me ask you a question. How many cigarette burns do you have on your new dead cow skin seats?
None yet. There is one on the dead cow skin seats in the house, and that was from Mary.
Uh-huh.
But you'd never find it.
She still smokes?
No, she gave it up last night, too.
Oh, you did it together.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah, I think it is, because we'll both be supportive of each other, and she may have more of a problem with it than I do. I don't know.
I married a non-smoker. That was that's how I could do it, too.
Well, it is just such a disgusting habit. And then when I realized that I'd be here so much longer to drive people in the Tampa Bay area insane if I'd only give up smoking.
Does this mean you don't want to be a disgusting person anymore?
No, I think...
You're not going to give up that, too.
No, I think you misunderstand. See, by not smoking, A, it will make me meaner. B, I'm going to live longer so that I can hassle these people longer.
You're going to be meaner and you're going to live longer. Well, that sounds great, Bob.
Well, yes, that's why I gave up the coffee. Because I figured, when I quit before, it didn't really affect my temperament. But coffee, that affects my temperament. Oh, that's going to make me much, much meaner.
Like a mad dog in hate.
I already have this desire to call you a subhuman pig, and you haven't done anything.
Well, I've a couple times I've called you, and you've never given me a hard time, and you've never really gotten on my case, and I sort of feel left out.
Michael, quick, bring me some candy. I want to call this man a subhuman pig. Bring me some candy, quick! Hurry! Okay, that craving's over for the time being.
Oh, thanks.
You don't really deserve it. God. Well, Dave, guess we've probably...
You don't have any other calls, do you?
No, you're wrong. I do. I do, Dave.
Well, I'm going to have to get back to my ledger sheet.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later, Bob.
Be good, Dave.
Okay, good luck to you.
Oh, thank you. Roland in Zephyr Hills. Roland, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, yeah, Roland.
You worried about dying of cancer?
No, I'm not worried about dying of cancer. No, not at all.
Well, why'd you quit?
So that I can live longer to make you people miserable.
But you said you would live longer, so that must mean you're worried about dying.
No, I'm not worried about dying. My only concern is that I'd be around longer to spread misery in the Tampa Bay area.
Well,
rather than being selfish and want to die and get out of here, I don't want to be selfish. I want to stay around here longer to drive guys like you insane.
Well, no, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
How much do you weigh?
How much do I weigh? About 290.
About 290. Well, you know, that can kill you, too, from a heart attack.
That's why I'm eating grapes. Only grapes and water from now on.
Oh, you're on a diet now, too?
Yep.
Oh, I'll be damned. That's all right. I was going to call you up and give you a hard time about, quit smoking but being so big, but since you said that makes pretty good sense.
Yep, I want to make sure that I'm around till at least the age of 90 so that I can spread misery.
Spread misery?
Spread misery. You got it.
All right, Bob, take it easy, you subhuman pig.
Take care there, Roland. You very unoriginal man. Listen to this, please. Now here's your exclusive Channel 8 Doppler weather radar forecast from meteorologist Laura York. That is 14 words, and it contains a miserable tongue twister. Doppler weather radar forecast. Try saying that 3 times. Here's the forecast. Sunny today and Wednesday with highs of 84 degrees. Clear overnight, a low of 64. 15 words. Unreal. Currently, 81 degrees in Newport Richey, 79 in Plant City, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater, 80 degrees in Tampa. Scott in Tampa. Hi, Scott. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hello, Scott.
I think you're pulling our leg here on this reason why you quitting smoking.
No. It's the only thing that is going to allow me for sure to quit.
No, I think it's you're trying to protect these burgundy dead cowskin seats.
Nah.
I mean, why else would you and Mary quit at the same time? I think she done put down the law. If you're going to spend this much money on a car, you ain't smoking in it no more. Plus, you're probably going to end up losing your mind. I mean, look at this. You're going on a diet and quitting coffee and quitting smoking. Hell, next thing you're going to be doing is voting Republican. Jesus, Bob.
Well, I am a registered Republican, Scott, and I have been thinking about going to the Republican meetings to, try to raise their consciousness. But, no, as a matter of fact, I've never burnt. Oh, my God. I don't know where the hell that came from. I've never burnt a hole in the seats of a car. I have taken out a rug or two with an ash that kind of continued to burn. But, no, most of the ashes I drop are already long out.
Well, that's the way it'll stay if you stay off the cigarettes, I guess.
And I did not cut a deal with Miss Mary concerning the car and smoking. That had nothing whatsoever to do with it. It's just it's the time. It's the time. I realize that I am mortal. I'm already 43 years old. If I continue to smoke and drink coffee and eat real food, I will probably kill myself and will deny this area that I love so much. I will deny the elderly people in this area the stimulant that I bring to them every single day that keeps them going. I mean, haven't you noticed 3 years ago, the elderly people around here, they looked kind of gray and drawn, right? Now they've got a spring in their step. Their cheeks are rosy because their blood's pumping, and it's all due to me.
No.
And if I continue to be a selfish man and to smoke and to eat real food and to drink coffee, I'm going to kill myself, and all those people are going to die.
No, that's just the new crop of old people. They'll look all dried and worn out by spring again when they go up north.
Scott, you're taking the credit away from me, man. I have single-handedly put a spring in the step of the elderly in St. Petersburg and Sarasota and even Clearwater. I've put color in their cheeks again.
All right, maybe so. Tell me something, though.
Yeah.
What finally convinced Mary to let you get the car? Was it the letters? Was it the letters in the show that finally convinced her? Or?
Well, that didn't hurt. That's for damn sure. As a matter of fact, she even complained about that. She said, that's not fair. That's not fair that you did that to me. Because she got a real kick out of that. I think it was probably just, a week and a half of sitting home going,
oh. The pitiful moan you mentioned.
Oh. That was probably what it was. But the letters and the show really helped.
All right, well, you enjoy the car. I got to get back to work, Bob.
Take care, Scott. Speaking of getting back to work, I would like to, if you work for the Barnett Bank in Sarasota, please listen very carefully, okay? In the Sarasota area, the Barnett Bank. I got a little note yesterday. I'll read it to you. It's on your stationery, too, by the way. It's a little memo pad. Dear Fat Boy, just in case you missed the results of the presidential election, I thought I would send you the enclosed clipping. Of course, it was from the Sarasota paper, so it was Friday's edition, says Bush wins. For months prior to this election, you did your very best to harpoon Mr. Bush and the Reagan administration. Now you can relax and know the country will survive without Mr. Do Tax Us and his liberal friends. If you had put as much effort into losing weight as you did in criticizing Mr. Reagan and Mr. Bush, you would now make a presentable appearance. It's signed, yours truly, Sarasota Sally. Well, first of all, Sally, I did put as much effort into criticizing Bush and Reagan as I put into losing weight. That's why I'm fat. Because it took no effort whatsoever to criticize those two guys. Now, this is why I want to talk to you guys at the Barnett Bank. First of all, this is on your letterhead. Secondly, she used your postage meter to send it to me. I would advise you people, if I were you, to be on the lookout for this woman. She is probably listening between, noon and 1, for sure. She should be relatively easy to identify. She's clearly a masochist who listens to my show instead of doing her job. She is a typical new Republican in a low-paying, dead-end job at the bank who just voted for the real Bush. So I want you guys to know that she's out there. You can easily spot her. Right about now, she should be opening her desk drawer, throwing that radio in there, and slamming it shut. But you should be able to spot her nonetheless. Okay, Doug in Tampa. Hi, Doug. You're on the air.
Bobby?
Yeah, Doug.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, great.
Hey, I understand you're quitting smoking, right?
Yep. It's now been 10 hours and 16 minutes and 55 seconds.
Christ almighty, I stopped yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. And my ticket was this. Chew gum. Chew gum, man.
I'm doing fine on water.
Listen to this. I went through 3 packs of this Wrigley's chewing gum. There's like 25 sticks in it.
Uh-huh.
Well, listen, my girlfriend says I'm not going to have any teeth, but I'll live longer. What do you think?
Well, eventually she will appreciate the fact that you don't have any teeth. Right now she's just thinking of appearances.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's making me really edgy, not smoking, because everybody around my workplace, they seem to smoke and enjoy it, blowing it in my face, okay?
Well, of course, you're threatening them. You're doing what every single one of them wants to do, but doesn't have the inner strength to do yet. So you're a threat to them.
I used to have fingernails. I'm chewing the hell out of them.
Well, just stop thinking about it.
Okay.
Literally. Think of it. No, I can't do that. I was going to give you some advice, but I can't do that.
What's your scenario for stop? Were you reading a book?
No, I just wanted to stop.
Okay.
It's it's something that you've got to want to do, and try not to find substitutes for it. Try to stay away from the gum. Just try talking yourself out of it. Whatever your motivation was that made you stop yesterday, just drive that into your head over and over and over again. If it's health, if it's appearance, if it's money, whatever it may be, just, hey, this is going to go away in a week or two. All I've got to do is hold out for a week or two, and then whatever it was that I wanted to accomplish, I am on my way to doing. And if I can't put up with a mild annoyance, and that's all it is, if I can't put up with a mild annoyance for a week or two, then what kind of a scumbag am I?
Really, what turns me on is scientists say my lungs will turn pink again. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that is a rather interesting prospect.
Lungs, hey.
Nothing pink on me anymore.
Oh, my God. How long you been smoking?
30 years.
30 years.
30 years. I have been a regular smoker since the age of 13.
I've only smoked 4 years. I should quit quicker than you.
Well, yeah, you should be able to.
I should be able to.
You should be able to, for sure.
Well, I'm going to try, Bobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean,
Do it. You can.
we need people like you and I bugging the world, huh?
Well, no, I'm not going to become a reformed smoker. I will not go around, stubbing people's cigarettes out and lecturing them and all that kind of good stuff. Those people have driven me insane. They had no effect on me whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they may have been responsible for my smoking longer
True.
than otherwise necessary, and I will not become one of those. I just mentioned it today because I don't really have much else to go with except that in the Barnett Bank.
No agenda?
Sally, it's... you see, I stayed up very late. It was 2:13 this morning that I smoked the last cigarette. I do not normally stay up at that hour, and so this morning when I got up, the first thing I did was take a nap because I was so tired.
Yeah, usually first thing in the morning I get up, boom, slap a cigarette in my mouth. The last 2 days, oh, man, I've been great.
You'll do it.
Breathe, I can walk upstairs and not get winded.
You'll do it. You'll do it. You only need a couple of weeks, and you've licked it. Be
all
good,
right,
my friend.
You take it easy.
I'll try.
I'll call you back tomorrow and see how you've done.
Okay. All right. Be good. But the Barnett Bank identified Sally yet? She's ripping you guys off left and right, sitting there, listening to my show instead of doing your work. And, of course, using her postage meter, too. She probably uses it on all of her personal mail. Marie in Tampa. Marie, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello there. You're just a great big old sweet chicken, and you're not no mad dog. Anyway, your commitment to hang around and aggravate us old people in Tampa, I'll take it every day if that commitment will help you carry through your smoking habit.
Well, thank you, Marie.
I love you because you make us think. What do you think about them scoundrels holding off and going to foreclose on all those farmers?
Well, isn't that interesting when they made that decision, right after the elections?
Oh, yeah. They're a smart operator. You know what? One blessed thing. That darn Bush will have to clean up his and Reagan's mess. Thank God he got it. Now let him suffer. What do you think about that?
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah,
hey, sounds great to me, actually.
Yeah.
Love it.
Anyway, you hang in there and you keep us, our heads stimulated and keep us thinking, and we love you.
Okay.
And the little sweet Mary, too.
All right. Thank you, Marie. Bye-bye. Why is it some of them call up and they don't love me? I don't understand. Bob in Tampa. Bob, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Isn't Marie great, huh? She had a problem saying stimulate.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, Bob.
Yeah.
I hope you can follow through with this, and maybe I'm not a smoker, but when I hear like the gentleman before Marie calls up and says, I've gone 2 days without taking a cigarette when I woke up, and I feel great. That's really sad to hear somebody say that it's such an accomplishment.
Being a non-smoker, you just don't realize how much of a part of your life it becomes.
I realize it's very addicting and the whole bit, and I think that's really sad and horrible.
Yes, it is. It's disgusting.
Maybe if you do follow through with this, then one day when you're sitting in a restaurant and you have smokers by you and the smoke's blowing on your food, you can begin to relate on the other side and see just how rude and disgusting that is. I don't know if you were ever...
Well, I would find anyone who smoked a cigarette at a table where someone was still eating, and I firmly believe this when I was a smoker, to be a very rude individual.
Yeah.
No, you don't... God... You don't smoke when somebody's eating.
A couple things off the topic real quick.
Sure, what's that?
Did you happen to catch Lionel's show on Sunday with Gordon Solon?
I caught maybe about 10 minutes of it as I was going someplace. I honestly don't listen at home.
Which one?
No, I just don't listen to the radio at home. The only time I listen to the radio is in my car.
I caught about 30 minutes of it. It was unbelievable.
Well, what made it unbelievable?
Just the way they were, those two going at each other. And it was very funny. Had that show been on prior to you asking all-time memorable show, that would have gotten many a vote.
Oh, you're kidding me. You mean it was a good show?
It was entertaining.
Michael, let's see if we can't dump this part. We don't want to...
No.
We don't want to put out that Lionel's
Let me
doing
ask
good
you
work.
this. Let me ask you this. Now, you said you're going to stop smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Based on your previous history,
Mm-hmm.
If I was to base it on that, I'd have to say no. He's not. Telling the truth, because you've said many things that you've gone back and said, well, I've changed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the religion.
Mm-hmm.
And also, is it a coincidence that a few days ago, the majority of the people who called up and one of your most memorable shows are saying was your religious shows, and you just so happened to pop in with your religious show yesterday?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. I thought that was a rather cute concept. I was rather surprised that it somewhat bombed, but...
Yeah, but it was timing also, because it just so happened that last week here the people were saying that the religion is what, was one of their favorite shows, and on the same hand they were saying that, you're getting all these people yelling and screaming at you, your ratings are gone down, it's not what it used to be, et cetera, et cetera.
My ratings have not gone down.
Well, I'm telling you what people are screaming at you and saying. I'm not going to listen to you anymore, your ratings are going down, the show's not what it used to be.
People have been saying that since the day I arrived.
I know, but I think I've heard it more in the past 6 weeks, 1-2 months than I have previous.
No, you weren't around at the beginning then.
No, I've been around for a year and a half.
Well, there was a year and a half prior to that.
I know, but I'm talking about a year and a half ago when you had and also you had, a couple weeks ago you had the show with some of the old people calling back, and for the first time Rocky called back, and, when you had Lash Out at Lassiter, what used to be Bashing Lassiter. In any event, what happened, here's my final question for you, what happened with your commitment if Dukakis lost, and Bush won, about the wrestling and all?
You were supposed to
punish us, maybe?
My dear friend, I think that perchance you have to listen to talk radio either a little less or with a little more of a grain of salt, especially the things that sound, really absurd. They probably are.
I mean, what if we want to put our trust in you and want to listen to what you say and only...
I don't want you to put your trust in me. I don't want you to put your trust in anybody except yourself.
But you don't want us to put... But you kept telling everybody to vote for Dukakis.
I beg your pardon. I did not.
Okay. Rather, you were telling people who voted for Bush they were idiots.
I believe that for the average guy in this country, Dukakis was the better choice. But I didn't tell nobody to vote for him.
Have you ever... do you notice that from smoking your clothes stink, or you just now I didn't realize that Mary was a smoker, because I was going to say maybe she enjoyed...
Bob, when you smoke, you lose your sense of smell. How would I know that my clothes stink if I don't have a sense of smell?
True?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is greatly diminished.
Do you literally burn it away?
Burn what away?
I mean, your sense of smell. I mean, the cells.
No, you're just used to being around a great stink all the time, so you just stop smelling things. You just get used to it. You know how when you walk into a bathroom, and it smells fine, and then you do all kinds of naughty stuff in there, and when you leave, it smells fine, but if you come back in 10 seconds later, you go, whoa, I didn't make that smell. It's the same thing.
Huh.
So you're around the smell from the beginning, so you don't smell it.
It's a shame you didn't think about doing this 3 weeks ago, because now your car probably already stinks from cigarettes. So you've ruined that smell of the new car and the new leather. Because, it gets in the car and it stays there.
No, I haven't ruined the
but you don't know, because, again, you get used to the stink, you see?
Well, if so, I'll just have to throw it out and get another one. Thank you, Bob. Take care. There. Jane in South Tampa. Jane, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
You're horrible. You know that?
No, what seems to be the problem, Jane?
Talking about Bush. I don't even understand why. First of all, you agree with a person like Dukakis. Why is that?
I don't believe I ever said I agreed with Dukakis.
Well, why do you always stand up for the man?
I don't always stand up for the man.
Well, you always put down Bush. Who did you vote for?
I ended up voting for Dukakis.
Well, see what I mean? You stand up for the man.
No, I don't stand up for the man. I voted for him.
Well, why did you vote for him?
Because I couldn't vote for Bush.
Why?
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 very...
What fundamental differences?
What fundamental differences?
You have from Bush, from yourself. Are you Republican or are you Democrat?
Well, ma'am, I consider myself to be a Republican. But I also consider myself to be a human being. And I also consider myself to have a degree of compassion. And I also happen to believe that things should be a little bit more fair around this country. And I happen to believe that maybe George Bush believes the same things that I believe, but he's just not strong enough, ma'am, to take the people who are behind him and shove them away, the very people who will do things like keep down the minimum wage, very people who will do things like cut their own taxes while increasing yours. I don't think Bush is strong enough to rid himself of those people because he has surrounded himself with them for so long and is totally and completely beholden to them for his current position. And that's why I couldn't vote for George Bush.
Well, Dukakis is a lily-livered person. He doesn't have the same things as Bush. Bush is stronger than he has ever thought of being.
Ma'am, I just, for some bizarre reason, I don't know why, I gave you a 2-minute, sincere, intelligent answer, and you respond to me, well, Dukakis is lily-livered. What in the hell does that mean, ma'am?
He doesn't have any, he has no foreign policy experience.
Oh, he has no foreign policy experience. Well, ma'am, I don't know what all this foreign policy experience that George Bush is supposed to have. And on top of that, I'm not quite sure.
He was ambassador to the UN. He has experience talking to other leaders in other countries.
Well, UN's in New York, I believe.
In another country, huh? Did you tell me?
I believe he has traveled outside of the country, yeah. Yeah, I believe he has.
Not real experience, because just being a governor of a state doesn't mean anything.
ma'am, foreign policy is never something to be glossed over. But our foreign policy decisions are not the decisions that will affect most Americans in the next 4 or 8 years. And the problems in this country are not going to come from foreign policy areas. They're going to come from internal economic areas.
Well, that brings a strength in the country when somebody has the courageous, that's not a very good word, but the know-how to talk to someone in another country, such as this Gorbachev person from Russia.
Well, ma'am, I, to the best of my knowledge, George Bush, as a relatively low-level figure, never conducted any foreign policy at all.
I do believe he has.
Well, ma'am, I believe he hasn't, because that was Ronald Reagan's gig and it was George Shultz's gig, and people are usually very, 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 very reluctant to give up their power.
So you feel that the only reason that he ran for president is to gain more power? That's the only reason?
No, ma'am, I suspect he ran for president because he thought he could do a job. That's why I would hope he would have run for president.
Well, people, when they get their minds made up, there's no use in trying to change them. Such as you.
Oh.
Hardly at all.
Oh.
Hardly at all. Can you ever change somebody's mind? Because I have to admit, I did vote for Bush, but the only reason I did is because the caucus has no...
Ma'am, what in God's name would you know about having a mind?
How you doing?
Reasonably well under the circumstances, Pat.
So I hear you're going to quit smoking.
Pat, one second. I think I have punched you incorrectly. Let me do that, and then go back there.
Hello?
Ah, there you are.
Are we in better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you going to quit smoking, huh?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Right.
Well, that's great. Listen, let me give you a hint. I'm always here to help you out, Bob. Whenever you get that urge to quit smoking, and here you got that urge to smoke again, I found that if you take a lemon wedge, okay, and bite into it, at that time you get that urge, it kind of throws that urge off for a while.
Well, I don't want to use any gimmicks.
You don't want to use, well, I mean,
for people that need them, that's cool. I have no problem with that. But for myself, I don't want hypnosis or lemon wedges or staples in my ear. I figured the best shot I have at quitting smoking is, rather than using a gimmick, is finally convincing myself that it just isn't any damn good.
Huh. Well, is it the reason that you quit smoking because of your lungs, or because you found out you got high blood pressure?
No, I don't have high blood pressure. I actually have low.
Is that right?
Yeah. No, the reason is that it's just time. You know, it's something I kick around for have kicked around for years since the last time I started smoking again.
Yeah.
Which was probably about 15 years ago now.
Yeah, surely it's not good for your voice either. You got such a good voice, you'd hate to ruin it by smoking.
I just hate to ruin my life by smoking. I'm tired of it. I don't enjoy it. I never did enjoy it. I spend too damn much money. We spend between $175 and $200 a month on cigarettes in my house.
Huh.
That's outrageous. It's an incredible amount of money.
Yeah, sure is. Hey, listen, though, if you get up in there, and I don't know, I found that most people that smoke generally have high blood pressure, along with overweight, eating a lot of red meat and stuff like that. You switch over to the white meat, chicken, fish, stuff like that. Even though you say you got low blood pressure, I find it hard to believe that you smoke and overweight.
Well, it's true.
It's true.
Yes, I have a long history, especially like during the draft physicals. I have a long history of guys and gals trying to take my blood pressure, sitting there tapping the machine, thinking that it wasn't working. That's how low my blood pressure is for my size.
Well, I'll be darned. So you never got around to eating over at Char-Ann's, huh?
No, I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Yeah, I heard you. I mentioned that to you when you was calling about restaurants, and it is a good place. I tell you what, they got a steak sandwich over there. It's just unbelievable. They're hot.
Unbelievable. All right. I like unbelievable food.
Hey, listen, another thing.
Yeah.
Another great spot to go is the Sports Scoop. Ted Webb goes there. Over at Columbus and Hines.
You think I want to go any place that Ted Webb goes?
Sure. They got ice cream, Chinese food. It's Cuban sandwiches.
Chinese food? You're trying to send me to a place with both Chinese food and Ted Webb? No. Deadly combination.
Okay, well, we're going to have to send you over some food from there and let you try it out anyway.
Not Chinese, thank you.
Okay, Bob, we'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Good luck, buddy.
All right, let's go to Rick in Clearwater. Rick, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, Rick.
How you doing?
Oh, reasonably well.
Well, I did the same thing you did, but I didn't give up coffee. I switched over to decaf.
Well, the reason I'm giving up, it's not really the coffee I'm giving up, it's the sugar. It's the sugar and the creamer, the dairy creamer, which I just cannot drink coffee without.
Well, maybe try a little bit of that Equal or Sweet and Low.
No, I don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it at all?
It's just not the same, so I would rather do without.
Yeah, well, hey, did you ever go to the old meeting house there on Howard Avenue? Have you tried that place yet?
The old meeting house on Howard Avenue?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it.
It's called the Old Meeting House, and it's on Howard, right across the street from that American Linen Laundry Company there. You got to try that out. South Howard, just down from Burns.
Okay.
So if you like Burns, you just it's right down the street from there. Nice corner mom and pop organization. Got a great hamburger in there.
All right.
Great
meeting
hamburger.
house, huh?
I know you're on a diet, but you got to snitch once in a while.
Well, there are some days when I can eat meat,
Yeah, but quitting cold turkey on a cigarette, that's the way to go. That's what I did.
It's as far as I'm concerned, really the only way. The cutting back and the once an hour for a week type of thing, to me, is just too much torture. It actually makes me think about smoking.
I quit in 71, and they were like a quarter a pack then. So I can imagine what you guys are spending now. Well, they're $2 a pack now or something like that, aren't they?
In some places, yeah. Well, a carton is about $12.50 now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that.
Serious
Even if
bucks.
I made the money you did.
I really don't know how average working people can afford to smoke.
Yeah, the thing is, when you go in the store, you got the generics, in them yellow packs. You never see anybody buying them.
Tim Coles, he used to smoke the generics.
I'm
serious,
too.
too.
But, good luck on it. You'll make it.
Well, I know that.
We'll check back with you in a couple weeks, see how you're doing.
All right.
Hang in there.
Be good.
Bye.
Elbin in St. Petersburg. Elbin, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, hi, Bob. How you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Good. I'm a long-time listener and a first-time caller. I'm at work and just got back from lunch and heard your older friend there talking about Mr. Dukakis and Mr. Bush. And first of all, I want to thank you for expressing some of my frustration publicly. And I'd like to, what bothers me is the way people keep talking about Governor Dukakis and the fact he's just a governor, and they seem to forget that Mr. Reagan was only a governor eight long years ago.
Yeah, and apparently not a very good one in George Bush's eyes, since he's said to the current governor of California that he was the best ever.
Yeah, apparently. But it just surprises me how all these facts tend to escape people, how they just tend to rally around the flag and forget about what really makes our country work.
Well, you heard what she said. Dukakis was lily-livered. I give the woman a 2-minute answer, and the best she can do is lily-livered. Well, hey, if that's the way she wants to run her country, not much I can do about it. Albin, gotta run.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Be good. Thank you. Second year. Now it's the third year, and it's even worse than before. I frequently talk about this place just not being together, not being very much of a community. I was giving an example to somebody last week, probably went right over his head. That's okay. But it's even stronger this week. I cannot conceive of a top 20 market. I cannot conceive of a city big enough to have an NFL team, to have a team that is not only 3-7, but who has a quarterback that leads the universe in throwing interceptions, who admits that he's colorblind. I cannot conceive of a town with that situation not going utterly bananas. I mean, if this happened in Pittsburgh, if this happened in Cincinnati, if this happened in New York, hell, if it happened in Los Angeles, the people would go crazy. Unreal. Just unreal. But, nonetheless, get on the damn phones, huh? Todd no, it's not exactly open phones or anything like that. It's just because I told you to. Todd in Pinellas Park. Todd, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Todd.
How you doing?
Oh, great.
Good. I just listen to your show all the time, and I thought I'd tell you that me and all the boys from Best Labs enjoy your show. The one yesterday was kind of, we had to turn you off, but we listen to you every day, though.
Well, why did you have to turn it off?
Well, it was too much dead air for us.
Too much dead air.
We need a lot to keep us going,
Mm-hmm.
We look forward to listening to you all the time on your show, and I just love it. And basically, that's all I wanted to say. But about the presidents, I voted for Bush because I look at every politician as a crook anyways, and I figure we might as well have one in there that knows what the heck he's doing, huh? Anyways, that's my 2 cents, Bob, and thanks for giving me some airspace.
Okay, Todd.
Okay, bye.
Be good. Wayne in Clearwater. Wayne, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Robert.
Hey, good afternoon, Wayne.
Today's St. Petersburg Times, you read? Front page?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about, Wayne.
A nation for sale about the Philippines?
Actually, I just glanced at that.
Okay. There's a term in there I don't understand. I don't think I do, about the Marcos regime, kleptocracy.
Yeah.
What is a kleptocracy?
I wouldn't have the biggest idea. I would have to see it. And then I'm not sure that I would know. I'd have to see the context in which it was used, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I bled dry by the 20-year Marcos kleptocracy, now demoralized.
Well, in that particular case, I would assume that it's a variation on the word klepto or kleptomaniac, thief. Right, a thief.
Oh.
That would be my guess.
Well, it's better than I did, so sounds good.
And considering that that's in essence what they did, then that's probably what it means.
Yeah, it does apply. I feel bad. I hate to read an article and not be able to understand the words.
Well, I understand.
Okay, Robert, thank you and have a good one.
Hey, anytime. All right. I've had it. I've absolutely had it. The damn team is 3-7. The quarterback throws the ball into everybody else's arms, and now he admits he's colorblind, and you people are going to get bummed about it. You people are not going to put up with this anymore. You're going to get on the damn telephone, and you're going to scream and shout and holler. I've had it. This is unreal. No other town in this country would sit back and say, oh, well, gosh darn it, oh, well. No, get on the phones. Tell those people what you think of a colorblind quarterback and a 3-7 record. Do you realize that 4 coaches over the last several years have lost their jobs because Tampa Bay beat them? That's how much of a disgrace it is to be beaten by Tampa Bay. 3-8. I thought it was 3-7. Are you sure? You're positive? That's even worse. Great. 3-8. 3-8 with a colorblind quarterback. Unreal. Get together, people. 990-9352 in Hillsborough. I'm sorry, I just, really happened to think of this. I'm not smoking. I don't have any coffee to calm me down. 4619352 in Pinellas. Bob in St. Petersburg. How much longer are you going to put up with this crap?
Well, what I'd like to say to the Buccaneers, are we talking to the Buccaneers now, right?
Talking to the whole damn town.
Okay, well, what I want to say to the Buccaneers...
obviously, it's a waste of your time to talk to Culverhouse.
Well, what I want to say to Coach Idiot there and his buddy Testaverde is that the Buccaneers have been down here for quite a while, and I have yet to buy a ticket, and I probably never will because I am smarter than most people. I don't waste money on crap like that. I can get more enjoyment out of a brand new album or something. And that is what I think of your football team, pal. What do you think of that, Bob?
Well, that's great. Obviously, you see, Culverhouse couldn't care less. The guy's making a fortune. He's cleaning up on this. He couldn't care less that you're not going to buy tickets. Obviously, half-empty stadiums don't bother him with that television contract. But it's the point of the entire community. I've never encountered anything like this.
Well, I think really the attitude down here is, Bob, and that is that most people, the only people that really go and see the Bucs, basically, are the beer-guzzling rednecks who would go see anything, a tractor pull.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. You go over to that stadium and it's filled with primarily yuppies.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm damn serious.
I've never been. I've never been to one.
Rednecks have better things to do with their Sunday afternoons. Shoot fish in a barrel, talk to each other, have spitting contests. It's yuppies. If that stadium was filled with rednecks, then you would hear screaming and shouting. The game that I went to, I was astonished. There was no noise.
Are you serious? It's absolutely quiet?
Yes. It's quiet. I mean, there's nobody who stands up and hollers, "Kill the coach," or something to that effect. It's a quiet place. It's a Sunday afternoon where people bring they all have their little orange attachable seats, and they come in with their little orange shirts and their little orange shorts, and the parking lot is filled with Mercedes and BMWs, and there are some people who have probably even bought campers exclusively for no other reason than to go over to the game a little bit early and have a cookout. And the teams down on the field throwing the ball consistently to guys in purple shirts. 6 times. 6 times. It should have been 9. But the incompetent guys in the purple shirts kept on dropping them.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. It's nothing but yuppies from Cincinnati.
Well, I guess it is better if they're from Cincinnati to have them there than out driving.
I mean, if all the damned rednecks and if all the damned loudmouths, like myself from the Northeast, would get together and start screaming and bitching and moaning and complaining about this every week, then Culverhouse would be terrified to walk the streets of Tampa. He'd either sell the team to somebody that wanted to win or start doing something about it.
That's incredible.
But as long as it's yuppies who wear orange shorts. I mean, orange shorts. Would you go out of the house on a Sunday afternoon if you were a man in orange shorts?
Not me.
Hell no.
Not me. That's incredible. I'm serious, Bob. I had never been to a Bucs game. That's incredible. I knew that.
I paid $63.
Why?
Hear me out. And I had connections on this. $63 to sit on the 35-yard line, 74 rows up. Now, if this town would get behind this team, or at least show up, if the rednecks and the loudmouths from the Northeast would start going there wouldn't be any $63 tickets, 74 rows up for a losing team. They'd rip out the seats. My team in Philadelphia, it's been bad for years. People show up every week, and when it's bad, they chant, "Bull cocky, bull cocky." Well, it's not actually bull cocky, but it's close.
I got you.
The people over here go, oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. Well, let's leave early to avoid traffic.
Well, I do have one thought, Bob. If it keeps on going long enough, less and less people will go, and he'll keep raising and raising the price. Eventually, it will fold. Eventually,
Fold.
I mean, we may have to wait a few more years, but eventually it will
This
fold.
town's filled with yuppies. They don't know what else to do with their Sunday afternoons.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a yuppie, and I can think of plenty of things to do on Sunday.
No, I'm talking about the people that consistently... And I mean, this weekend, sell out. Why is it a sellout? Because all the miserable... That's another thing that really has me honked off. You miserable Chicago people! Don't you know what the game would have been had you not bought out that damn stadium on television? It would have been the Eagles and the Giants. But now it's a sellout, so I gotta sit at home and watch the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You miserable, good for nothing people from Chicago.
Well, I'm from New York, so I'm not one of those people. Personally, the only team I like is the Giants, and other than that, as far as I'm concerned, no other football team does it.
Well, you have been had this weekend, because had it not been for those people, you could have watched the Eagles and Giants game. But no, now we get a chance to watch, oh boy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Vinny, the colorblind quarterback, throwing balls all afternoon to guys in black jerseys.
Well, gee, it looked like it was orange to me.
Is he really colorblind?
Yes!
That's insane.
Yes, he admitted it to Terry Bradshaw. Over the weekend, Bradshaw said, hey, Vinny, are you colorblind? And then he said, yeah.
That's insane. They didn't know this when they hired the idiot?
Yes, they did. There shouldn't be an... one line open. It's in Pinellas. Freaking tap, Eric. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Bob.
What's good about it, Eric? What? These selfish people from Chicago.
There's nothing good about it,
Not
Bob.
a damn
We're going to put up with this crap every weekend, day after day, after Sunday after Sunday. I'm sick of it, Bob.
What are you going to do about it, Eric?
I'm going to go down there and I'm going to throw an orange at Vinny Testaverde because he's pissing me off. Colorblind
That's
quarterback.
not fair. He can't see orange.
Yeah, it's true. Throw something in a different color. They ought to switch uniforms. Then maybe he could get the ball to our receivers. Think about it. If he's colorblind, we put a Bears uniform on a Buccaneer receiver, he might get it to him.
But why isn't this a front page story? Why are there not people massing at lunchtime in downtown?
I think people are just fed up with it, and they don't want to come out in the open about it, and that's not right. They should come out in the open with it, Bob.
No, it's because the people here don't care about here. That's why the Chicago game is sold out. They're driving me.
They're here to see the Bears, and I'd go, but I wouldn't support the Bears, even though I know they'd win.
I mean, what kind of football fans are these Chicago people? They know the Bears are going to destroy. They know the Bears are going to maul Tampa Bay. They're going to humiliate the poor Bucks. They know this. In advance, with a second-string quarterback, a coach who has a heart attack, and Refrigerator Perry on the sidelines. And they're still going to go and deprive me of watching the Eagles.
Damn right. I mean, I'd rather watch the Eagles and the Giants, brother. I'd rather watch Lawrence Taylor.
Shameful people from Chicago.
Isn't it terrible?
Yes, it is.
It makes you want to I don't know. It makes you want to I don't know. They just need to take Tampa and I guess they just need to get rid of them or something. Bob, we've been putting up with it for so long. It's been 11 years now, and I'm just sick of it. 11 years, and we have not found a quarterback. 11 years.
Oh, I beg your pardon. You have found a quarterback. You let him go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because the guy wanted, $400,000. Oh, not going to give a good quarterback $400,000.
No, they wouldn't give him $400,000. They pay Vinny $8 million.
Right, exactly. I'll give an untried, untested, unproven, colorblind quarterback.
Just out of college.
I think, the wrong people are colorblind over there, if you get my
I think
my drift.
I'm right down the street from his house here. I don't know, man. It makes me sick, Bob. It really does, and I'm tired of it. I'm going to do something about it.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. Hey, there he goes. Bob and Oldsmart. Bob, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
God, you got me so pissed off I had to pull over to the side of the road and give you a call.
I've got you. What do you... It's not me.
No,
I'm not the one that hires these people.
I'm talking about your subject matter. For the first time in my 3 years ago in a Buccaneers game, we finally got a guy with a little bit of temper. Webb sits over there and kind of, well, you know, the Bucks are this and the Bucks are that. You got to get pissed off around this city. Man, I'm from up north, and we'd be ripping seats when the New England Patriots were 2-14. People were pissed off, throwing apples, oranges. Forget about it.
Exactly. Here it's... Oh, dear. Oh, my. Oh, dear. Well, there's always next season.
That's right. You went to the Eagles game, didn't you?
No, I couldn't. That's the weekend I hurt my back.
I'm telling you, if you've been to a Bucks game, and
yes.
What kills me is these people from the South keep telling us what great football fans they have in the South. Yet you look around and you see people who don't know when to cheer, who to cheer for, or whatever to do. All they do, I got a guy who's been sitting next to me for 3 years, never misses a game, especially without his number 6 suntan lotion. It's a joke. People just sit around, pay their bucks, and get a nice little tan. You want a tan, you ought to go to the beach.
I can't conceive of being in an NFL stadium in any other city where the home team quarterback, when he finally got over 3 interceptions, when there was the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, plus the 3 that were dropped. I can't imagine any other stadium not erupting in horrendous boos, ripping up the seats and throwing them on the field.
Agreed.
These people said, oh, my God. Oh, dear.
Oh, he's young. He'll get better.
Well, at least there aren't too many people here today. It shouldn't be too hard getting out of here. We could probably stop at the Tampa Bay Center.
If my boss was paying me $8 million for 5 years and I wasn't producing, somebody's going to get hell. You know what I mean?
This is the strongest case for a tax write-off I've ever encountered.
Honest to God.
I mean, he goes out of his way to get somebody that's colorblind.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the thing that whizzes me off even worse is they knew it when they drafted him.
Yes!
Unbelievable.
And he had problems in the Orange Bowl in daytime games, and they knew it.
Unbelievable. Hey, Bob, you've got a great subject today. I got to get back to work. But keep it up and keep getting pissed off. Maybe the people of Tampa Bay will get rowdy enough to get the stadium rocking this Sunday. I know that I got 5 friends of mine from Chicago coming down to watch the game.
Well, there's nothing the people of Tampa Bay can do now. It's all the, the greedy people from Chicago who are going to be in there.
I'm telling you, they come down and you ask for a reason why. They said, what the heck, we might as well catch some sunshine, and we know we're going to see a winning game.
But the people of Tampa Bay might get together with 2x4s or something and stand outside the stadium, waiting for Culverhouse and Carl Perkins to come by.
Absolutely. You know what would happen if it happened in Philadelphia, where 17 or 18,000 people from Chicago showed up in Veterans Stadium? It'd be a brawl in every section.
As well it should be. No.
Everybody's so nice and so well tanned. It's unbelievable.
Yes, wearing their cute little pink shorties.
Yes, absolutely. And while we're at it, since they got those puke orange jerseys, might as well just turn them to pink. They're close enough already. Listen, take it easy. Good show.
Be good. Oh, my God. One line open in each county. Unreal. I'm not even going to bother giving you the phone numbers with a line open in each county in a team like this. Mike in St. Pete Beach. Mike, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. You're just going to have to get with the program here.
Get with the program? What do you mean?
Well,
what do you mean, get with the program?
You don't understand what's going on. This was never meant to be a winning franchise. This was supposed to be a franchise right from the day that it was let, that all the other NFL teams could come down here in the winter and fill the stadium with brain-damaged snowbirds and watch them beat up on somebody.
Well, you may well be telling me the truth about the team. It's kind of hard to argue against your scenario there. But what bothers me even worse than the lousy team is the community that won't go berserk because the team's lousy.
It's not our team. I mean, we just live here. We're all from someplace else. You pull for the Eagles. I pull for the Bears.
Well, of course I pull for the
years,
Eagles.
But that don't matter. The Bears are my team. I suffered with them for 15 rotten, miserable years. I'm still a Bears fan.
Do you know the worst newspaper in the whole country? Well, it's a dumb question. It's probably the Pittsburgh Press, okay?
I thought you were going to say St. Pete Times, but...
Well, next to the St. Pete. Anyway, they had a cartoon in the Pittsburgh paper this past week or so. A couple of people supposedly moving to the Pittsburgh area from Tampa Bay, and Pittsburgh's having a lousy season too. And the cartoon said something to the effect of, "Well, at least you won't be bummed out by our losing football team." Well, I'm sorry that kind of offends me. First of all, that they're picking on the losing football team. Secondly, that nobody here is. I mean, have you seen a letter to the editor? Have you seen a political cartoon about it?
Nah. Nobody cares. It's not our team.
St. Pete Times yesterday didn't even carry the story about Vinny's colorblindness. It shows up today with a genetic defect.
It's a non-issue.
It should scream colorblind, and it should be on the front page.
We all pull for the team that is our old home team from wherever we came from.
Well, I understand that, and that's cool, and, I do, too, and obviously I'm complaining about the people from Chicago buying out the stadium so I can't see the Eagles-Giants game.
That's like throwing Christians to the Lions. People from Chicago love that.
But I think the point is that if you don't even give a damn about the football team, you're not going to give a damn about anything else that goes on around here.
You talk to a dozen people, and nobody's got the spirit that we grew up with up north or wherever we're all from.
Yeah, but you
pull for your home team.
But you see, the guys that write for the Philadelphia Inquirer did not necessarily grow up in Philadelphia. The guys that write for the L.A. Times did not grow up in Los Angeles. They're probably from Philadelphia, and the ones working in Philadelphia are probably from L.A. The guys who are working for the newspapers down here, the guys who are working for the TV stations down here, the guys that are working for the radio stations down here are just like everybody else in this industry. They're from someplace else. And where the focus is not coming from, it's the newspapers, it's the television stations, and it's the radio stations. Okay, you guys are just mere mortals out there. Somebody's got to beat you with a whip every now and then and tell you what's important and get you up and in fighting spirit.
But can you see how this has become a non-issue? Do you see how this complacency has crept into this situation? The Bucks went to the playoffs their third or fourth year as a new franchise, as an expansion team, then there were a lot of people pulling for the team. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Tampa Bay Bucks fans suffered through. 30 straight losses or something before they ever won their first game?
It was something horrendous.
There were some real diehard Tampa Bay Bucks fans here at one time. Listen, one more thing, and then I'm going to move on. Them Eagles, don't forget where their coach came from now. Don't be too hard on Chicago. Buddy Ryan is a good man.
Well, I appreciate that, and I like the Bears. I like the Cubs. I like Chicago. But why do they have to do it this week to me? I mean, I'm sitting home last week watching the game. They come on and say the prime game next week on CBS will be the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Always a great game, even when both teams are having lousy seasons. Great rivalry. Oh, boy, Mary, this is the greatest day of my life. Then they go back to the game and they casually mention, oh, by the way, next week's game is a sellout.
Get yourself a satellite dish and watch what you want.
Oh, be good, Jerry.
Thanks, Bobby.
Bye. Off we go to Jerry in Palmacia. Jerry, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
You missed the whole point.
Why? What do you mean?
Look, those of us who care, those of us who really give a damn, when we realized that we were being totally ignored when the campaign started, do you know what the motivating thing is about the whole Buck team? The thing that sets the keynote for the team?
No, but with this line that you have, it's kind of a poor line. I wish that when you're talking, you'd say Buccaneers. Okay.
Okay.
Because the line kind of breaks.
Well, yeah, the Buccaneers. The whole problem is under their hats. It's the picture of the limp-wristed person on the helmet that sets the whole keynote. I mean,
you may have a point there.
They've got this picture of a pirate. Tell me, were there women on pirate ships?
No.
Then tell me, what did the pirates socialize with?
Well, wait a second. Isn't it? Now that you mentioned it, it's not really, yo-ho-ho pirate. It's more like, right, it's more like exactly a buccaneer. He's got curled hair, doesn't he?
You've got it.
And a plume in his hat.
You understand.
And he's probably colorblind.
That too. Or at least, well, it's an even worse visual problem. Can't tell men from women.
But why don't you guys go berserk over this?
We did years ago. Nobody would listen.
Ah, come on. Nobody ever went berserk in Tampa Bay.
That's not true. That's not really true.
What do you mean? Yeah, 4 or 5 of you got together, had some secretary write up a letter, and each of you signed it and sent it off?
Those of us who really care. I mean, people who will go to a Bucs game anytime somebody will give them a ticket, complained, and nothing happened. And finally we gave up.
Well, why don't the rednecks go? Why don't the loudmouths from the Northeast go?
Because they saw the picture on the helmet.
I mean, if that stadium was filled with 70,000 beer-guzzling guys, each one with a brick in his pocket, you better believe the things would be better.
Picture. They would change the picture, and then the team would change. But that's what everybody misses.
Do you think it's perhaps that the rednecks and the northeastern loudmouth guys are ashamed?
Do you think possibly they don't want to come out of their closets and admit who they're socializing with?
Well, I really couldn't say for sure, Jer.
Have you ever checked a redneck out up close?
I beg your pardon, sir. I'm a happily married man.
Very good, but that makes my point. That's simple.
No.
You ought to check one out up close, and you'll understand. They simply don't want to come over there and socialize because they would be known for what they are. Soulmates of the guy on the helmet.
Thank you, Jerry.
You're thoroughly welcome.
You might have a point there. Paul in Tampa. Paul, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Bob, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul.
First-time caller, Bob. What I'd like to say is it's really ironic, Bob, that in 79 we had a championship team. We won our conference. You had a good quarterback by the name of Doug Williams. You had Leroy Selmans. You had a good team. You had the Jimmy Giles. All of a sudden, everybody starts to trade and wants McKay in the Bay and all this bull crap that you hear about. Now, it's very ironic now that they wouldn't pay him $400,000 or $500,000, whatever the case may be, to take the team farther down the road. And it's really ironic that all of a sudden that Mr. Culverhouse would be able to pay a colorblind, quote-unquote, quarterback $8 million.
Over, what, 5 years?
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why in the world, what kind of a deal would he have made if he would have got one that wasn't colorblind?
Kind of makes you wonder how he got his money, you know? It kind of makes you say, boy, I'd like to do some dealings with this guy.
They say this man's a hell of a man. He knows what to do. He's a man of means, a man of money, all this power and everything, and the man has to make a deal for a colorblind quarterback of $8 million. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to take up too much time, Bob, but it's really ironic to me that he lets Doug Williams go and he hires a colorblind, quote-unquote, quarterback. I think that's
But aren't you also somewhat curious as to why the rest of the people in the area just don't seem to have anything to say about this team?
Well, I think they're probably colorblind too, Bob.
Oh, maybe.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you, Paul.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day.
And I'm telling you, it's your fault. It's your fault. Don't blame it on Mr. Culverhouse. No, accept the blame yourself. You guys don't bitch. You guys don't moan. You just go, oh. I've been to a few NFL games in my life. Never before had I been in a stadium that ran constant commercials over the PA system. No other stadium could get away with it. Because either the team would be winning and the people would be cheering, or the team would be losing and the people would be booing. Nobody in his right mind would spend money to run commercials over the PA system in another NFL city, to the best of my knowledge. But here, no, it's dead silence. I was rather grateful for them. It was another human voice. Unreal. The Meadowlands. People throw around smoke bombs. Here, they were batting around a little balloon shaped as a football. It looks very reminiscent of a time when I once went to a David Cassidy concert, and they, tap, 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 plop, plop, plop. Unreal. Fred in Tampa. Fred, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Bob, I understand that you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Boy, they were one of the most feared teams in the NFL, weren't they?
One of the most feared teams. No, one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Tough guys, huh? Much tougher than the Bucs, I imagine. Did you know the Bucs beat them in '79?
I don't give a damn. Almost everybody beat Philadelphia.
Oh, get off my phone, you jerk.
What kind of a miserable idiot are you? Sir, I never said the Eagles were a good team. Never. They're a horrible team. They have been for years. They've had basically 2 winning seasons in my lifetime. But there's passion, sir! There's passion! This is we just obviously had on a Tampa native. He's probably one of the guys that has little orange shorts on. And he was going to say, oh, well, you root for a losing team. Yes, sir, I root for a losing team. But there's passion. The entire city is filled with passion, sir, for the team. No one in Philadelphia, sir, if there was a show like this going on, would call up and say, well, you root for the Tampa Bay Bucks, don't you? Well, the Philadelphia Eagles in 1943 beat them. And get off my phone, you jerk. For all of you people out there who are not swift enough to come up with your own lines, let me give you one for, get off my phone, you jerk. How about get out of my ear, Lassiter? So you won't have to steal my material. Al in North Tampa. Al, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello?
Hello, Al.
Hey, right. I got a story on the Bucks. About 4 years ago, I think, is to the best of my knowledge, one of the local city councilmen were making a big deal about the bare-chested men drinking beer in the stadium. Well, it was one of those days
I remember that now that you mention it.
Yeah, the Bucks were losing bad this particular day. And after the game, the coach at that time was McKay, and all the fans were congratulating him, of course, at the tunnel there. And he gave him the finger and used the F word.
Well, that sounds like my kind of coach.
Okay, then.
Yeah, the guy had some passion. Hey, sit on it and spin.
And then, a couple days later, a number of the fans in the news conference was asking the owner about the team, saying, hey, what's going to happen here? We lost a lot of games and things are really looking bad. And he said, hey, this is my team. I don't care about the fans. We're going to run it the way I want to. Well, never been back since.
Did he really say that?
That's the way it was reported. I was not at the news conference, of course.
Oh, that sounds like that jerk, Ursi, the guy that stole the Colts from Baltimore to Indianapolis in the middle of the night. Oh, well, gee, maybe he'll take the team down to Sarasota in the middle of the night or something, or Fort Myers, a town a little more suited to a guy of his standing.
Yeah.
Class.
Well, the way I look at it, it's a terrible shame, and I'd like to support the Bucks, and I'd like to see some changes made.
But, gee, he really looks great in that anti-drug commercial. It's too much. It's tragic they didn't put as much effort into the team as they put into that anti-drug commercial. But probably somebody else made the drug commercial, and you just appeared in it.
Okay, well, that's what I had in my mind. Thanks, bud.
Take care. 2 lines open. Bill in Plant City. Bill, you're on the air at 970.
Yeah, man. I had it out with Ted Webb a couple of nights ago. I think the Bucks did better under Ferguson than they did Vinny. The Bucks just don't have anybody that can, if they're doing something wrong on the field, kick them in the butt.
Well, first of all, I don't know a damn thing about football. I don't know a damn thing about quarterbacks. I don't know a damn thing about much in life. But what I do know is that this kid may be worthwhile, Testaverde. But subjecting him to week after week of humiliation cannot be doing long-term good for the guy's head.
Well, I think they owe him an apology, and I think they owe us an apology. Letting the people think that this guy just can't handle it, he can't read the defense and all this. Maybe, in fact, that has nothing to do with it if it's on account of him being colorblind. And they're trying to make him almost look like a dummy. If I was him, I'd be pissed off. I'd be chewing at the Bucks. I'm not that dumb. I'm good. But,
Well, as I recall the story, though, Testaverde has indicated that he does have, especially in daytime and bright sunshine like we have in Florida, a fair amount of difficulty determining the difference between the jerseys.
Yeah.
He has conceded this.
Well, now, if you were another team's owner, would you change the color so he could see better? Ain't that neat? I like that, man. That's like, okay, I'll do that if you just go after my guys with one hand,
All right, could you guys please wear plaid when you come into town?
Yeah, if you can't handle it, get off the field,
Yeah.
But, the guys that are playing like Grimes and these guys, can you imagine what they feel like when they get hurt? And it's for a losing cause.
Well, one of the things that I noticed the week that I went was over there, and actually a couple of games that I've watched, we seem to have a damn fair defense. Again, I don't pretend to be an expert, but the poor guys are out there so often that,
Well, that's what I said. I went to that Miami game, and to me, it was a world of difference once Ferguson got going. The guys just, they got with it. And when you, like last weekend on TV, if you looked at the guys' eyes who were standing along the sidelines, it was a different team. It was a different team, and I think it's a crime to put these guys through it. When we do have a quarterback that can possibly lead these guys to do something and make him sit on the side.
Well, last week also was an incredible insult. You go into Detroit. Okay, the Detroit Lions can only draw 25,000 people, but you can't draw anybody at all. And that would be somewhat, I would imagine, at least it would be to me, somewhat discouraging that nobody wants to see you. People in Tampa don't want to see you. People in Detroit don't want to see you. It's got to be demoralizing.
I know. You know, it's funny talking about people not complaining. The people do complain, or have complained in the past. But it's almost like Culverhouse is combined with the city government.
Yeah, you say people have complained in the past. It's always, there's no passion here. It's always, no, this is really terrible. Let's throw Mr. McKay into the bay.
I heard it.
It's I just don't know how else to explain it. My friend, thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Be good, Bill. 2 lines back. We are, yes, that indeed. Doug in Tampa. Doug, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
I had caught just a little bit of your conversation about the Bucks, and I was at the Miami game, and it was like a fairy tale at the beginning there. Nothing happening at all. And had you ever been to a Bandits game?
No.
Oh.
No, they were gone by the time I got here.
Completely different. You got 2 Culverhouse, Jimmy Durante knows, and Lee Scarfone.
Well, why was it different?
I don't know. I mean, look at the difference in the owners. Scarfone, who's now in jail or has been indicted for something, and Hugh Culverhouse, Mr. United Way. So that people cared if they won. I guess that was part of it, but I don't even know if they really cared. You go for the entertainment, because I don't benefit by the Bucks winning.
See, okay, this is confusing me because I was going to say, well, maybe it's that Midwestern mentality where we don't want to say anything bad about them. I mean, they try. And I would think that if this town were passionate about the Bucks and the fact that they were 3-8 and the fact that it wasn't going to get any better anytime in the near future, I would think that the people on the team would end up playing harder and consequently better than being in a town that just kind of shrugs and says, oh, okay.
Well, I don't know, but I bet you I can't wait to see the Bills the Bucks after they play Chicago, and I bet you they'll sell out just to see the Bucks get reamed anew.
Sir, you're a bloodthirsty glutton.
But that's what we like to see.
I mean, after Chicago gets finished with this port... Oh! You would have been happier living back when they used to feed the Christians to the Lions.
If they sold tickets. Yeah, I'll have to be at the Bills game. I have to say it. It'll be a good one.
My friend, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Bob?
Hi, Lenny.
Yeah, I just want to let you know a little bit about passion about a football team. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan.
Oh.
And down there we went through 17 seasons without a winning season.
Yep.
And we went through 11 head coaches. And that's where they started the Aints with the paper bags.
I remember.
And throwing airplanes on the field.
Uh-huh.
We really know how to, put it to them. My youngest brother got arrested for throwing a plane on the field one time. But those people really, going through 11 head coaches and 2 different owners, they know really know how to give it to them.
Virtually every football fan, virtually every NFL fan, has over the last 10, 15, 20 years supported losing teams. Not everybody can win.
Exactly.
Okay? I support a losing team. I have for years. They'll always be losers, probably. Who cares? They're my team. I love them. Hooray! Why isn't that here?
I don't understand it.
It was that way in New York. It was that way in New Orleans. It was that way in Pittsburgh. Yeah, sure, the people are really pissed when they don't win, but damn it, they're there, and they care.
You got to show somebody, that you care about it.
I should think.
Or nothing's going to be done about it.
I should think. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Jim in Tampa. Jim, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, hi, Bob. You know, I've been a Bucks fan, and I understand what you're saying about passion. Passion's very important in sports, and without it,
It's important in life.
no fun.
Right.
You know, if you can't go there and feel bad when the team loses and feel good when the team wins. You know, you're saying you're from Philadelphia. And, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of being a big league town. If you're from Philadelphia and you root passionately for the Eagles and the Phillies and the Flyers and everybody else, you have a seasonal compendium that takes it around till, okay, now I got to get in my Philly mode, and now I move on to my Eagle mode, and I move to my Sixers mode or a Flyers mode or whatever. And these people for some reason, and I've been a vocal fan for a long time. These people for some reason in this area fail when it comes to, you know, the Bucks are here for 12 games. Well, 12 games a year, 4 preseason and 8 home games. And so, you know, it's funny because if you parallel it against the college situation, where if you're a Gator fan, people are calling for Galen Hall's head, and he had a 6-5 season, or Bobby Bowden and Jimmy, Johnson at Miami, and all that they can do is say what wonderful things that they do. It's just like two different worlds.
It really is. It really is, and it actually tends to worry me. Obviously, maybe not quite as much as I would be indicating this afternoon, but I find it very strange. I don't understand. Well, it's like living on another planet.
You almost have to give them lessons. I mean, in how to act at football games. The last 4 years I spent in Cleveland. I was working in Cleveland. And, I mean, it was like, going to Cleveland Stadium, you had to pass through a loony detector as you went in. I mean, it was not like if you were not going to go in there and yell and scream and attack the opposing team and your team, then they didn't want you in the ballpark.
Yeah, they checked us food.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the whole thing boils down to that, the passion went out when Doug Williams and that entire mess happened there, because when they first started here, even though they lost the first...
Oh, I don't know, man. Every other city has had their heart ripped out by some kind of dumb, stupid move on the part of management.
Oh, I'm not
getting rid of a favorite player.
Management. I'm not blaming management at all, because under the circumstances, management will make stupid moves in any kind of sport. That are not going to make and endear themselves to the fans. But the fans, for some reason, lost a little bit of their zest for the Buccaneers.
Maybe
Doug left.
We'll see. Jim, got to run. I'm out of whatever the hell it may be. Last caller in the last hour, he started to trigger it with me while he was on the air, but it didn't really totally register until during the newscast. He was talking about, checking people as you go into the stadium, and it suddenly dawned on me as I was talking to him, yeah, they checked us for food. Well, that's it. That's literally it. They wanted to see if we were bringing our own food and if we were bringing our own beverages, because they wanted to milk us for every last miserable nickel they could. Well, that's cool. I understand that. I'd do the same thing if I owned the team. But nobody checked me for a bomb. Nobody checked me for a shotgun or a rifle or a knife or a hand grenade, because they knew that the people of Tampa Bay are just too nice to do something like that. So all they checked me for was food. We don't want you in here overeating, Lassiter. And if you are going to overeat, we want to make sure we get the money. Unreal. Mark at the airport. Mark, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
Hi, Mark.
You do Doug Williams came into town last week. He came in, went to Bucks training camp, practiced, and wanted to see some old friends.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, he introduced himself to Coach Perkins. Coach Perkins says, gee, I hope I don't have any hard feelings against you. Don't have any against me. You were traded before I was here. Dougie says, no, that's okay. I understand. So Perkins says, how about, let me make this up to you in a little way. Let me take you out to eat tonight. Dougie says, sure. He said, how about let's go to Malio's? And Coach Perkins says, gee, I can't go there. Vinny and I go there. So Dougie says, oh, maybe I know where. I like Burns. I like to go there. That was one of my favorite spots. Perkins says, gee, can't go there. And Vinny and I go there. So Dougie says, well, how about let me get a bucket of chicken and me and you go sit in the end zone. That's one place I know you and Vinny ain't been.
I like it.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, and I would have them hanging from the bridges by now if this happened in Pittsburgh.
Well, exactly. Okay, you're from Pittsburgh. You can verify, I hope. When did you live there?
I lived through all 4 Super Bowls. I was a bartender through those Super Bowls.
Okay.
And, oh, my.
Then you can verify that virtually every window in every downtown high-rise was decorated.
Oh, it was more than Christmas.
Right. It was from the beginning of the season to the end. I mean, Pittsburgh is the Steelers.
Yes, even though they're losing now, you still cheer for the Steelers.
You better believe it. You better believe it, because you want them to do better.
Sure.
You want the people that own it to do better.
And you call in, you bitch and moan, but you give suggestions, but that's your team. You stick, cheer, and if something's wrong, but they're your team. You stick by them.
Every other NFL city I've ever been in, that's the way it was. Even in Miami. Theoretically, it should be the same situation in Miami that, everybody's from Philadelphia, they're from New York, they're from Boston, they're from Baltimore, they're from Washington, they have their own teams. It's not this way in Miami. People down there are passionate about the Dolphins.
Oh, very. And Tampa's so fortunate to have an NFL team. How many teams are dying to have one? And they take it so lightly.
Unreal.
It is a shame. Well, you keep up the good work, Bob.
I'll do my best. Be good. Bit like that, the bucket of chicken in the end zone, someplace you ain't never been. Richard in Tampa. Richard, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, how are you?
Oh, doing reasonable, Richard.
I was thinking, I couldn't figure out why you paid $63 for a ticket.
Oh, 3 tickets.
Oh, what, just for you, right? I didn't realize you were such a fat guy, Bob.
Uh-huh.
So you're on a diet, huh?
Uh-huh.
How much you going to try to lose, Bob?
Know your damn business, Richard.
I'll tell you what. I'll be willing to bet that a year from now, you haven't quit smoking, you won't be below 289 and a half, and you're still drinking coffee.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah.
You'll still be a Tampa Bay person.
I'm not a Tampa Bay person.
Oh, sure you are, Richard.
I'm a New Orleans Saints fan.
No, I don't care what football team you root for, Richard. You are Tampa Bay. Rich in St. Petersburg. Rich, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, how you doing, Bob?
Ah, fine.
By the way, I just saw...
By the way, if I could take one moment, anybody who recognized that last caller's voice, would you please call him up and explain to him how I just insulted him? Now, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I just saw a bumper sticker, Fish McKay out of the Bay. That was one of the... Do you recall? Maybe you don't even recall. They used to dump McKay in the Bay.
Yes,
they want to fish him out because it looks like old Ray's worse than McKay ever thought of him.
It's not Ray. It's Carl Perkins you people got.
Right. Then another thing that puzzled me was this color blindness thing. Every time, and that's why he's throwing interceptions. The thing that puzzles me there is if he's... every time I see him throw an interception, he's always throwing it to, there's always 2 or 3 men, defenders around one buck. So does that mean he thinks he's throwing to 3 guys and there's only 1 defender? Or what? That's what puzzles me.
Well, so far nobody's asked him about depth perception and things of that nature. They've only asked him about color blindness. There may be a hell of a lot more to come out of this.
Yeah, I think maybe he ought to have a brain scan, too, because... if he thinks he's throwing, if his receivers are going against what he called in the play and they're flooding one zone for him, and that's why he's doing it, I really don't understand the whole color blindness thing, how that could really be a problem. But that's all I had to say.
Well, obviously the kid did okay at the University of Miami, so obviously there are ways around it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The thing that just astonishes me is why it wasn't front page news and why the city isn't just totally abuzz and why I've got to sit here and almost beg people to even sit down and think about the whole damn thing. I don't understand. What are you going to do?
Well, I'll tell you, old Culverhouse, he's worth, $350 million, but that doesn't mean that he knows anything about running a football team, and he and Ray have yet to show any signs that they know what they're doing down there. And until they do, like you say, the fans, you would sure think, because any other city, if they just insulted their intelligence time after time, most other cities would be up in arms, I would sure think. But I guess we're so happy to have be able to go and have picnics before the game and everything, that's all that really matters.
Yes, you're right. It's so beautiful here.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay.
Be good. Two-line Gino in, at, or on West Shore. Gino.
Uncle Bob.
Hey.
You sporting a Buck sticker on that new Lincoln?
No way, Jose. I don't put bumper stickers on my cars.
You got an Eagle sticker on the car?
No, of course not.
Okay. I don't want you trashing it up now.
No, I would never do that. I've never had a bumper sticker on any car I've ever owned.
You know what what's wrong with this area, Bob? It's like Italy of the 1860s. We got a bunch of city-states here that are feuding with each other, and they don't know how to react. You know, they get in that stadium, and the Oldsmar people are a little worried that the Clearwater people might be cheering a little louder, or the Tampa people got something against the St. Pete people. But they don't know how to react.
Well, Gino, I would say that, yeah, that's true, or I'll agree with that in terms of the out-of-stadium reaction, the out-of-stadium...
But it carries into the stadium. They don't know how to be to support anything around here. You know, you got that Performing Arts Center downtown. That thing is dying. When they open up that Contamadome, that's going to die. This area is so fractionized and so feuding with each other that there's no spirit at all. I mean, when you lived in South Florida, whether Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Hated each other or not, or thought one was lesser than the other. They got
did.
together.
Dade and Broward people?
The Broward and Dade people supported.
Despise each other.
Yeah, but they supported the Dolphins. And they supported, by the way, and respected each other's civics projects. But up here, they don't know how to react. They need seminars on how to become America's next greatest city. People don't know how to react. They're backwater people, I'll tell you. And frankly, maybe we should have a sister city program, invite people over for dinner like they do with, foreign cities. We should maybe have Oldsmar and Plant City have a sister city program and then get to like each other.
What do you mean, Oldsmar and Plant City being the sister cities?
Yeah, to each other, see? And Tampa, St. Pete become a sister city, so they can carry on a nice, intelligent dialogue on, hey, we're all one big area. Maybe we should start communicating. But until that happens, I think the Bucks and any other franchise that comes into this town are just, if they win, fine. Then they know how to cheer. But other than that, they don't know how to support anything in this area of a regional nature. I mean, they got their own little power-broking fiefdoms, and that's about all I see here.
Well, again, I would say you're dead on the money in virtually every other area. But I go back and I relive my 3 or 4 hours in the stadium a few weeks ago, watching people waving to each other. Oh, hi there. Joan, it's us over here. And watching people watching each other. And, of course, I just love those cute little orange seats and those cute little matching orange outfits they were wearing. Nobody paying any attention to what's going on the field. None.
That's right.
I don't know that has anything to do with the people in Oldsmar and the people in Plant City not knowing each other.
I'll tell you, you did get cheers when I first got down here, and the Bucks went to the playoffs under McKay, by the way. You had that stadium rocking. In fact,
well, that's to be expected, but it's also to be expected that it should be rocking when the team is not doing well.
That's right. But see, this area doesn't know how to react. They don't know how to support. They need seminars on how to be the next greatest city. They're just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the dichotomy in the people. You got the rednecks here. You got a few Cubans tossed in. You got the old-time Spaniards.
But why aren't they in the stadium? Because the people that are in the stadium are the yucks. These are the ones that
together.
Just don't understand what's the matter with the rest of you guys.
Bobby.
Thank you, Gino.
Keep it up, babe.
Be good. One line available. Bradenton, Frank, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob?
Yes,
Bob?
Frank.
I think you've been talking about the problem all day, and that amounts to the fact that the blue-collar workers of the area aren't going to the games because they can't afford it.
Well, either can't afford it, because Michael and I, my producer, were just talking during the break, too. Either can't afford it or there's just nothing there for them because there's not enough of the rest of the razzle-dazzle and razzmatazz that brings people in,
They don't want to rub elbows with a bunch of yuppies. They're lucky if they can, afford a six-pack and sit down and watch the TV. I think what we need to do is use the very element we're talking on right now.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure that the tickets are any higher here than they are in any other NFL town.
But the wages are lower in this town.
Well, okay, you have a point there.
And you've talked about that often, and sometimes a six-pack on a weekend is a real treat. So the best we can hope for is to get our team on the television. And I am a Giants fan. I would like to see the Giants and the Eagles. So why don't we get in a phone-in campaign with the Big 13 over there and demand that they put the Giants and the Eagles game on, and maybe that'll send a message to what's-his-face over there in Tampa, Culverhouse or whatever it is.
Well, I heard a rumor that the Giants-Eagles game will actually be a 4:00 game, so I'm going to...
eat your words, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it was a good thought. Let's call them up anyhow. Just show our displeasure with putting this team on at all until they start doing something, perhaps. Or
well, if only people who, I don't know. Again, let me come back to something. It doesn't cost a hell of a lot less to go to a WWF wrestling match than it does to go to an NFL game in this town.
Right.
And the people that go to the wrestling matches have lots of passion. There's lots of blue-collar people. There's lots of loudmouth Northeast talk show hosts and all that kind of stuff there.
But there's no young urban professionals, right? There you go. Who wants to sit down with these people? They're boring.
Oh, you have a real good point there.
They're boring on their job, and they're boring anywhere else. That amounts to the cultural event for Tampa. Tampa Bay Bucks. Wahoo.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Bob.
Be good. One line open. It's in Hillsborough, 990-9352. Chris in Bradenton. Chris, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Oh, reasonably well, Chris.
I think what the problem is with the Bucks is one of the problems with this area is you have so many people living here from different areas that you have no. When things go bad for the Bucks, your first inclination is to go back to the team you used to root for up north.
Well, yeah, but you got the same situation in Miami, and you have the same situation in a couple of other towns too.
Well, I don't know. Miami's had enough winning years for so long that they've managed to build up a following, and it kind of distresses me because I'd hate to see the situation happen here that happened in Phoenix, like, where the Phoenix Cardinals moved out of St. Louis and nobody gave a damn, And, I mean, I've been living here for 20 years now.
Actually, you bring up you bring up a damned interesting point that I'd forgotten about. They were almost run out of town in St. Louis, weren't they?
Right. Now they're tied for first place in their division. So, I mean, I imagine there's a lot of St. Louis fans that are kind of kicking themselves in the butt right now. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say, too, is why Hugh Culverhouse picked a colorblind quarterback. Anybody, I mean, it's obvious because Hugh Culverhouse is colorblind himself. Anyone that wears the kind of suits that man wears has to be colorblind himself.
You mean probably it was Vinny said, hey, nice suit there, Mr. Culverhouse, and that was good for a long-term contract.
Really? You take care, Bob.
Be good.
Okay.
Damn, I had forgotten about the St. Louis situation. Almost tears the heart out of my argument. But not totally. Vinny in St. Petersburg. Vinny, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Vinny.
You better stop talking about my team. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to cry.
Well, just as long as if you get mad, could you throw something at me?
I'm going to cry, and I'm going to tell Hugh and Ray, and they'll have you thrown out of this city. You creep.
Well, just as long as they don't put you in charge of the throwing.
I hate you. Why don't you say nice things about the Bucks?
Okay. They serve very good hot dogs at the stadium.
I'm going to cry if you don't stop trashing my team.
I said something nice. The Cokes are very good at the stadium, along with the hot dogs. And as a matter of fact, they make a dynamite combination. It's a fantastic $9 meal.
Well, that is true. I eat it all the time. But if I play good. I think I play very good, and I'm not colorblind either.
Well, you indicated that you were, Vinny.
Well, I'm not. I just said that. They paid me money to.
Do you say anything they pay you money to say, Vinny?
Yes. I'll do anything for money.
Anything for money.
Anything.
Anything.
Anything at all.
Well, why don't you throw a ball so that one of our guys can catch it, for God's sake?
Well, I don't think that's very nice to say, Bob.
Well, you said you'd do anything for money.
I try to. It's not my fault I'm not very good.
Oh, I don't understand, Vinny. I just don't understand.
Well, it's just not my fault. I'm not very good.
Nah, right.
But I'm tired of people trashing the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
We're a good team.
Good team.
That's right. We're the best in the NFL.
Well, you have very lovely uniforms.
That's right. They're nice and pink.
And the coaches' sweaters are dynamite. I'd kill to have one of those.
I know. I love the pink.
I wouldn't want to wear it around here where people could recognize what it was, but if I ever left the area, I'd wear it up there.
I love the pink uniforms. Don't you, Bob?
The pink uniforms?
Yes.
I don't think they. Vinny, they're not. They're screaming orange, Vinny. They're not pink.
They're pink. They are so.
No, they're orange, Vinny.
Well, I think they're pink.
Do they look just like the juice that you drink with your morning breakfast called orange juice?
No, they're a little lighter.
A little lighter.
Yes.
Would you call that orange juice? Would you call that pink?
No, that's orange. Our uniforms are pink.
No, your uniforms are orange.
Well,
the team color. Ask Mr. Culverhouse next time you pick up a check from him. Ask Mr. Culverhouse what the team colors are.
Well, maybe a kind of a sickening orange, but I think it's a very nice color.
Would you prefer the uniforms be pink?
I would.
Would you like everybody to wear pink uniforms?
Yes.
It would make life so much more easier, wouldn't it? So much less complicated.
I think so.
Well, okay. Hey, Vinny, thanks ever so much
Ta-ta, Bob.
for checking in with us. Be real careful now crossing the street.
Bob.
Ta-ta, Vinny. Tim in Largo. Tim, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Well, I don't know if I can top that enough, Bob.
Well, don't even try. You know, just go on with your normal call.
I was going to try to be so serious. Now I don't know if I can or not.
Well, sure you can.
No, what I was going to say, back a few years ago when John McKay quit the job there, I think Mr. Culverhouse goofed royally when he didn't hire Wayne Fonts. And because Wayne, now he's interim coach now of the Detroit. But then the second goof is when he didn't hire Steve Spurrier. Because we all, well, not all, but I mean, a lot of people around here love the Bandits. And I think I missed two of the Bandits games all the time they played here. And so they didn't win all the games. But I'll tell you one thing, that stadium was rocking. Now, I don't know if anybody's going to call in and confirm that or not, but...
Well, I appreciate that the Bucs used to do terribly, terribly well at the gate. The thing that just astonishes me, and I have to keep going over and over it, is that the rest of the community, you know, not just the people that show up at the ballpark on Saturday, not everybody in New York shows up at the ballpark, not everybody in Washington, et cetera, et cetera. And again, a lot of other teams have stupid owners. A lot of other teams have owners who do a lot of stupid things. But the people in the community still are very interested, and the people in this community just aren't.
Times we all kind of got disgusted with him, and especially when they didn't hire Steve Spurrier, because Spurrier was a darn good coach, and he is a darn good coach because he coached the Bandits, and they was a good team. We had a lot of fun watching them, but that's about all I got to say. I still like the guys on the Bucs team. I don't particularly care for the owner because I don't think he really cares, gives a damn if they win or not, as long as he brings that money in. But you still got to support the team. I think the guys on the team really try. But this color blindness, I mean, my Lord, I heard about that. I told my wife, I can't believe this.
Exactly, and it would be headline news in virtually any other NFL town.
Yeah. Can you
headline
imagine,
news.
Can you imagine how they're laughing in the other NFL cities?
He can see and can't see.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, I'm first time in Colorado. I listen to you about every day, and I get a big kick out of some of the stuff that you put on the air. But I just had to call in today. I think this is really wild. You have a good rest of the week, Bob. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Never fool the man who's just quit smoking. You know, it's astonishing. I can already, Michael, the smell is starting to improve. As I was out walking around during the newscast, there are all kinds of smells on this floor that I never noticed before.
You're going to hate the smell of that studio.
Oh, really? Oh, joy.
Especially following Sam.
Ralph in Tampa. Ralph, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, enjoy your show.
Well, thank you, Ralph.
First-time caller. I'm from South Jersey, kind of like you, small town.
Which town?
Mount Holly.
Okay, I know Mount Holly.
Sure. We used to play Collingswood.
Uh-huh.
Kind of
You used to beat us.
You know what I think the reason is?
Everybody
part of the reason for the lack of passion is the writers. We have basically two writers here, McEwen and Mizell, who helped. They really helped bring the franchise here. So they're very tied to the franchise in terms of loyalty. You know, McEwen has dinner with Culver House probably once a month, and you have that kind of setup, and you have Tom McEwen eating his grapefruit and poached eggs with hollandaise in the morning. You know, you and I grew up reading a guy like Stan Hockman or Bill Conlon or Sandy Grady. Those guys ate nails for breakfast.
Yeah.
And they go after the jugular when there's something wrong with the team. They're objective sports writers, and they're journalists. But we don't have journalists here. We have guys who basically cater to the power structure, like McEwen of the town, and then you have a guy like Mizell who's just a nice guy who likes to be liked by everybody. So you have nobody that goes after these guys in a passionate way.
Yeah, but do you think you have to be taught to... Well, for example, I'm not a great sports fan. I'm a Philadelphia fan, okay? I didn't read much in the way of the columns that you're talking about in Philadelphia. I knew that they existed, and I was more likely to read a column if it was on baseball than I would have been if it was on football. Because I just really don't understand the game of football that well, the intricacies of it. I enjoy watching it. And I don't need to know all of the little inside things. So I never read the columns, but yet I still had the passion. I'm not sure that most of those people that would show up at a Philadelphia Eagles game can read.
You have a point there. I think part of it there also is either your father or your uncle, they were diehard Eagles fans, or they were diehard Phillies fans. And here you have basically a first generation. This is a franchise, and the fans are babies in terms of sports knowledge, in terms of living with a team that loses for generation after generation. And look what you had to go through. I remember I went from Mount Holly. We took 2 buses to Center City, Philadelphia, and then Connie Mack Stadium. Well, that was like taking your life into your hands back then. A tailgate party, and everything's kind of nice, and the sun's shining. You get a suntan while you're having a game. You know, at the Eagles game, the only way you stay warm is with the flask in your coat.
And by booing. You know.
That's right. Do you remember Joe Q. Herrick?
Oh, I sure do.
Well, I was down at the Eagles games, and they had airplanes flying by every week. Joe must go. Joe must go.
Yeah, I think they finally just paid his contract off
right.
a couple of years ago.
He was hung in effigy more times than any person in history, probably in Philadelphia. And that's the passion. But I think a lot of that is the writers, and I think a lot of that is the tradition, the families. I can remember my uncle and friends of mine throwing their baseball cards across the room, ripping their baseball cards up when Jack Balchin would blow a game in the 9th inning. Now that card is probably worth something. That's what we would do. I mean, we lived it, but we were taught to live it. My son, who's about 9, he dies when the Phillies lose. He'd never been to a Phillies game except when he was 2 years old. He can't remember it. But he dies because I die.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's real interesting.
You don't have the tradition. The family tradition.
I think you're probably hitting the nail on the head.
But I think the sports writers are very, very passive and basically nice guys. And they don't go after people. Up there, I know several of the Philadelphia sports writers. The one in particular, the lead writer for the Daily News, hasn't spoken to Bill Giles, the owner of the Phillies, in 4 or 5 years.
Well, in that case, I have great respect for the man.
That's right. They call him the Gang of Six up there now, the decision makers. But they go after him, and there's a tension that's healthy between them. Here, you don't have that tension.
Do you mean maybe the city is too small? maybe the Culver houses and the handful of other people who are purported to run this place really and truly do, and that you don't even go after the guy's football team?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very, very small power structure here. And every person that goes to one of those luxury boxes has been responsible for selling a lot of those season tickets, and they're all interconnected. It's a very small town. And they all know each other, and they all run in the same circles, and you have a very small-minded mentality. You don't have a big city mentality here.
Okay, but there are still an awful lot of younger males who are natives of this area, or who have been here so long since, the age 3, 4, 5, that for all practical purposes they may be. Where are they? Why aren't they filling up the end zones? Why aren't they throwing their empty beer cans out on the field when they throw interceptions? Where are they?
Probably at the beach. I don't know. I think part of it there is that they haven't caught the passion. They haven't seen their fathers do that. I've been in so many games and I see people walk out in the third quarter.
Yeah.
They want to go have a Cuban sandwich, or they want to get home and get to their favorite restaurant and that kind of thing. So they haven't caught the intensity that you have with a diehard big city fan.
Ralph, I thank you much. I think you've got some interesting input.
Appreciate it.
Be good. No, I appreciate it. You cut that out, Michael. Michael's in there boogieing to the new jingles. Let's see. Dave in Tampa. Dave, you're on the air at 9-7. Dave's a subhuman pig if ever I saw one. I tell you, give up smoking for 14 hours, you start calling innocent people subhuman pigs. It's amazing. Steve in Tampa. Steve, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I was calling. I very much agree with the last caller about sports writers in the town. It's quite hard to get excited when you read Tom, and he's interviewing ladies about their picks and the Hey Tom columns. We really do need some good sports writers in this town to generate interest and get the people fired up, I believe.
Well, you may have a damn good point. I do not generally read sports sections. I will glance at it every day, and I do mean glance. So I don't really know about hell, I don't know about the quality of the sports writers in the town I grew up in, because I didn't read them there that often either.
Well, it's a point. Unfortunately, he writes a column that you can just glance over because there's no sports in it at all. It seems to just be basically sucking up to the local celebrities in town. There's nothing of meat or value involved in it at all.
And I haven't been that overly enthused with our, oh, God, here we go again. I'm poor general manager. I haven't been overly enthused with the TV sports guys either. I don't see anything coming out of them to make me want to be interested.
I agree also. I wasn't really that unhappy to see Mr. Ken Brew, boom, it's out of here, leave town. I mean, so what? And everyone thought he was such a great sportscaster. I guess fortunately for me, I grew up in the Detroit area where we had the Pistons and Detroit Tigers and, Red Wings.
Yeah, see, first of all, I don't think any sportscaster, especially on television, should be allowed to be on unless he's at least 40 years old, at least 40 pounds overweight, has totally destroyed his vocal cords drinking beer and screaming, and has devoted his entire life to the pursuit of nothing but sports and maybe horse racing.
Well, maybe John Madden would have been a good sportscaster.
I think, there's the exact kind of guy I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Somebody who doesn't care if his hair gets messed up during the course of the sportscast.
Right.
They couldn't care less. That's not important. And maybe that's part of the problem, too.
Well, I enjoy your show. I just wanted to call in.
Thanks, Steve.
You bet.
Hillsborough. Steve in Clearwater. Steve, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Bob. How you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Listen, it's a real good show. One thing that I've noticed, I'm on the road a lot, and occasionally on a Sunday I'm in a different town and I tune the radio in, and I've noticed the announcers do not get into the game. I was in Atlanta 3 or 4 weeks ago. They played the Saints, and the announcer says, "Hey, we got the ball back. We're going to do something now."
You're talking about the radio
here goes
people.
Our guy. He's throwing it. He's running. He's down. Oh, no. he got into it. He got you into the game.
You're talking about the radio announcers.
The radio announcer. Okay? Another thing...
well, okay, obviously Q105 has the Bucks package. Is it Mark Champion? Is he the sports director?
Yeah.
Champion is not bad at all, but he has nothing around him, and one guy can't carry an entire game.
Well, I didn't get the enthusiasm that I got up there in Atlanta with this guy. I felt like I was in the game. I was going to Alabama. I pulled over and stopped and listened to the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was there. He made it come so alive. Another thing that we had, like when the Bandits were here, every time the Bandits got a touchdown, they had some clown on a horse in a black suit come riding out in the field shooting guns off. A lot of people don't remember that, but it fired them up.
Well, you know, I can well understand though, but you know, think of the the current team's mascot. You'd have some guy with a lace shirt, you know, long brown hair and in curls, a feather in his cap, coming out, going, you know, skipping around the field. I just don't think it would have quite the same effect as the guy on the horse going bang, 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 bang.
Maybe we can throw a pastry puff at him or something. I don't know.
Well, that's probably what he would be doing. Yeah. Well, you know, throwing things to the flowers to the stands. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la. Oh, we scored. Huh.
Well, I've got... Listen, I've got one more thing for the Bucks. Are you ready?
Sure I am, but I'll kill myself. Whoa!
We'll see about
Well, Vinny sure as hell didn't throw that bomb.
Huh?
Vinny didn't throw that bomb.
That's what they need. Have a good
Okay,
day.
you too. 9-9. I have approximately 11 minutes left. The Van Ortner suddenly has gone very, very quiet. I refuse to allow this to happen. You will call those numbers. Standing by, Don Richards. 2:53 the time. Randy in St. Petersburg. Randy, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Fine. Under the
Bob, I
circumstances.
want to address a problem that none of the sports writers ever discuss about the Buccaneers. Okay? I'm a diehard fan. I've been a season ticket holder for 10 years. So
That's a diehard fan. You qualify.
Okay. There's only one team that Tampa Bay can be compared to, and that's Seattle. And none of the sports writers want to bring that up. The fact is that Seattle is such a far superior team in management and coaching that makes us look pitiful. There were years, and you have to look back in the record books, and I don't have them handy, that Seattle went 10-6, 9-7, and didn't even make a wild card team. 10-6 and 9-7 in our division would have won us outright. The division is stronger, their management's better, but all we want to talk about is the 1 year we had when we were the youngest, earliest team to go to the playoffs. We can't live on that forever. But you got to look at the two teams that came in at the same year and where one is now and where we are. And there's no comparison. And the sports writers consistently harp on just, you know, the little things. Testaverde, the $1 million quarterback, or a Wilder. It's just not a comparison.
You're probably right. I still have to come back to, I think probably most people are more or less like me. The casual fan doesn't really know that much about the game, doesn't really know that much about the other team or a team on the other side of the country, et cetera, but is into it because it's part of the community. You know, hey, it's all part of being here. It's as much of the community as the Bay is.
Oh, I agree with you on that. But I'm just talking about, you know, you were talking about sports writers. And you know, personally, I think Tom Zucco knows less about sports than my 9-year-old son. And his articles have no substance to them. I think he's in competition with Mizell because Mizell came back from Atlanta where he didn't do very well. So he gets his old job back where Zucco was head cheese. Now he comes back and Mizell takes over to cover again because he's more intelligent.
Well, astonishingly, every time I have read Mizell, and it probably isn't a half a dozen times in 3 years, I just come away saying, what's the attraction here?
Of what?
Mizell. You know, why? Why do people like this guy? I don't understand. He's not bad, but he's not. There's nothing special there.
Well, that's true.
Outside of, gee, whatever happened to blankety blank.
True, but my point is, in all of this, is that they never address our management and our team versus Seattle.
And that's really the key to me. I've been arguing this point with other fans, and they don't look at Seattle. Yeah, Seattle has rain, so they have nothing better to do on a Sunday. I don't buy that. But why are they so much better than we are? And all the way around. Management, organization, coaching. I mean, it's sad. And that's my point I wanted to make to you and the rest of your listeners, to look at the two things. And that's the only team we can compare ourselves with.
Thank you, Randy.
Okay?
Be good.
All right.
Take care. Tony in Bradenton. Tony, you're on the air.
Bob, how you doing today?
Oh, reasonably well.
That's great. Listen, I want to tell you, love the show. First-time caller.
Great.
Been listening for a long time, though, and just got to agree with a lot of stuff you say. And the Bucks, I don't know. What can we say? But the enthusiasm deal here. What about the Sarasota club and the fan clubs they have? You got some people out there trying to keep things going.
Well, yeah, well, sure. No two ways about that. 35,000, 40,000 people, I think, are season ticket holders, and that's all fine and well. And there's obviously a little bit of a camaraderie and a clique amongst the people who go to the games with the little parties, and that's all fine and well and cool, and I've got no problem with that.
Right.
It's just there ain't no passion.
No.
Hey, win, lose, or draw. Oh, well.
The previous caller about the Bandits and all, the action they had there, the enthusiasm, the show, that's part of the show, part of the flash to it. That had a lot to do with it. There's nothing like that. They look, the team's not doing anything. There's nothing to back them up. What's there to, talk about?
Well, they can find things in other cities.
That's true. That's true.
In most other cities.
Well, I think, there are, always those diehard 30 or 40,000 that's going to hang right in there. Let's just hope they do.
I hear what you're saying. Thank you, Tony.
Okay, Bob.
Be good.
Take care.
Fred in Clearwater. Fred, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Bob, how are we going to solve this problem we have here?
Well, it beats me.
I mean, you compare it to other cities, though, but how can we input that in this society we have here?
Well, I don't think
it's... A lot of people maybe just like that the way it is,
Well, you see, I don't see it so much as a problem with a sports team or a problem with fans. I see it as a problem with an entire community that just refuses to admit that it's one big city.
Mm-hmm.
And that, it's one major metropolitan area. It's filled with people who don't want to live in one.
Right.
And I think it shows up in things like the way that the Bucks are supported.
And we certainly have a mix of people here that we have nowhere else in the country.
Well, that's not true.
That's true, huh?
No, it isn't. South Florida, Miami.
Well, that's certainly a mix we have nowhere else in the country. South Florida, Miami.
If you're talking about
think they're above us
if you're talking about Lower Dade County, I'd agree with you. If you're talking about Broward County, no, it's very, very similar. Very similar, but there's a much greater spirit of community. There's a much greater feeling of camaraderie, if you will, and cooperation and caring about what the hell's going on.
I think what's really bothersome, a lot of people come from especially the northern cities where they see a big winner and they continually support them, and they walk into something.
A big winner? Philadelphia?
Well, you like the fan attitudes up there?
Giants?
I'm from there myself.
The Giants? The Giants were losers for years, too.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Thank you, Fred.
All right, Bob.
Be good. You guys, too. We'll see you tomorrow about noon.